Hailing frequencies are open, and we are doing our live Twitch Plus Prime Ultra rewatch of Star Trek The Original Series. I think this is now officially being called Amazon Prime Twitch. They changed the name. We got a notification email saying that they're changing the name slightly, but it doesn't matter. The basic gimmick is we're watching Star Trek The Original Series on Twitch with you, our loyal listeners and watchers and fans. If you haven't done so already, now is a good time to link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account so you can watch along with us in the next few minutes as we air Mud's Women. This is an episode that even I know sort of what it's about.
Me too.
Everyone with mud, right?
I don't know.
Really?
No. I don't know what happened. This was wiped from my memory.
Wow.
So, I remember the character Mud because I remember when the actor, I think, comes back to play him in Discovery. Or at least the characters.
The character does.
But the character's back in Discovery. But I remember it being a whole big deal, and I went down a rabbit hole. And he's in an episode of the animated series, too. So he's like a big reoccurring character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
So the way I remember him, and this is a bad analogy, but he's like the Mr. Misplitlick. We should get Pete on so he could pronounce it.
Mr. Mixaplix.
Yeah, that guy. It's not that he has magical powers or anything, but or even Q. Not that he has magical powers or anything, but that he's like ever present. He is the star walk-on character. He's like, I'm back. It's me.
Well,
did you miss me?
Yeah.
He's the space pirate of Star Trek. So he's like the Autolycus, the Bruce Campbell of Hercules and Xena, is what it is. All right.
How many more stupid references can we make? Katie, do you got one?
No, because I don't know memory of this episode.
Oh no! All right, you're gonna be immediately like, oh, all right, yeah, I remember him. Yes, so I'm excited to see this episode. It's been forever since I've seen anything with the original Mud in it, so I think we should just go right into it, right?
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. All right, we are back. That was Mud's Women.
I got to say something right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, what's up?
You're telling me you have all of these episodes, Yeoman Janice gets the short end of the stick, and she's not in this episode to tell a bunch of the boys, what the hell are you doing?
That could have resolved so much of it.
Just on shore leave or something. Like, what?
They could have put a few women in charge. Ahura.
She gets 2 shots in the episode because if she had any more than that, this episode wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that's it. Literally. It could have worked, but it would have been really interesting for 60s television. Ahura
I almost respect the fact that they didn't put the main cast girls in it because it wouldn't have made sense. They would have been like, what are you doing?
Yeah. There was definitely a sort of hand wavium of, well, this won't really run if we do it the other way around, without it breaking a lot of 60s barriers that were not ready to be broken yet, including simple ones like having a couple of Mud's men on the crew as well. And there being, I guess, whatever. We're not going to get into it. Ken, you cringed as we went back from this. This is hard to watch.
I know this episode well, but in today's current climate, watching it now, I just felt,
Here are some of the things I loved.
It was rough. Sorry.
Yeah. Here's some of the things I loved about it, regardless of how rough it was. The fact that Mud's women transported in mid-pose, they were all like, cover girl. They all had like a thing where they were like posing while they were transporting in, and one or two of them like turned like Charlie's Angels. It was very.
Of course they did. They are on drugs to make them feel themselves. They're like, look how hot I am all the time.
That's awesome. So that's a good. Well, that's a good point.
Katie,
the drugs
you're a woman.
didn't just make them feel confident, right? That was just the thing that happened at the end. Those drugs actually worked on people's minds somehow, but the last pill that I forgot her name already.
Eve?
Yeah, Eve. How could I have
The
forgotten such an
placebo.
amazing name as Eve? That Eve took was just a placebo that made her feel confident.
This is where the episode falls apart for me.
Really confident
Yeah.
is where it falls apart.
No,
Well,
it.
That it also somehow brushed her hair and did her makeup, but we'll just ignore that.
All I can say is the pills had to do something because Spock was even smitten. And if that wasn't the case, then we have got a serious problem.
I love. So there's a scene in it when before Kirk meets the women, and like Eve, I think, comes into Kirk's room to introduce himself, and Spock's got this smirk on his face, like, oh boy, Kirk's gonna have a problem with this. Like,
there were so many knowing smirks in this damn episode. It was so painful to watch. These men who are looking at each other going, And I'm like,
McCoy's
no.
face. He was so thirsty. McCoy was too thirsty.
It was at least a little cute from McCoy because he was like very like dumbfounded, bashful, and I'll give him that. Although if I were McCoy, I would immediately be like, "Salt vampire, ejected to space." I would not have forgotten so soon.
I literally said that. I'm like, every episode McCoy's in, he's just attracted to a lady that's somehow trying to, I'm like, if I were McCoy, I wouldn't trust this at all. Particularly after he's like going back and forth with the radiation scanner.
Not
right? And
even
he's
a
like,
minute.
He just should have attacked her.
I eject into space. Really, I am shocked he didn't.
Best part of the episode.
What was
McCoy? Are you wearing strong perfume or something radioactive?
I've asked that question on first dates.
Real quick, can I ask another thing about McCoy and that scanner? Yeah. It's a giant black screen, and it's just two red dots just blinking. How do you read that? What is it even telling you?
Well, no. So in the past, it's had like full vitals on it, right? So like it has like a bar up and down for each like major vital, right?
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But in this episode, I don't know, it was 2 dots.
Alive? Not alive. Remember, they were refusing medical.
I still don't know what it was saying. Was it picking up the drug? Like, what was it doing?
I don't know. And he's just like, it's not supposed to do that. It's just blinking. Like, what are you reading?
Perfume numbers. So off the roof. I want to finish one thought though. McCoy was, I think, bashful, cute, and to some degree. When you want to talk thirst, that one crew member who I don't know who he is, he takes over for Sulu, who's like,
yep.
He just could not handle anything. He could not handle his own body. He was just not in a good place the entire time.
I'm going to say one last good thing before we talk about the fact that this episode's like about bartering women. I could see why Mudd became a reoccurring staple. Like he is having a good time. He's witty. Yeah. He's fun to watch. That big earring makes him really noticeable. He's just really enjoyable. He
just came from the Ren Fair. Like,
oh my God. Why did he not change his costume before he got on camera? Katie, do you remember the episode now that you've seen it?
No.
Maybe your mom and dad were like, you can't watch this one. There's too much women bartering.
Over the human trafficking episode. I don't know why.
Yeah. I will say that this felt the most wagon train in space I've seen, honestly, because there was a lot of like, I'm delivering wives for the frontiersmen, which when you phrase it that way, it's a lot less human trafficking and more like, okay, I get it. This is a thing that could have existed in frontier times, and I guess space frontier.
And I think his end goal ultimately is he's not really trafficking them. Wasn't he been using them to do cons, right? And they would take the stuff and they would leave. They'd take the ship and they would leave. Like that's the impression I got. He wasn't actually going to leave them there. They were his tools.
Mudd was the hero.
No, I'm saying Mudd was even maybe more awful than we suspected.
Another cringy part of this entire episode is the number of times somebody who wasn't even Mudd, just everybody referred to the females. And I'm like, female what? so weird. It's so uncomfortable. When the Ferengi do it later on, it's like, all right, they are not supposed to be good people.
They're little troll people.
But when oh yeah, it is not a good look. The miner, he looked like a young Picard. The lead miner. Watch it again. He looks like he could be a Patrick Stewart, like
so
at that age, maybe a little older.
I have a confession.
Oh.
That made this a little weird. When they were originally talking about the minors, I thought they meant minors, like underage people. And I was like, this is wrong. This is real weird. But
James,
yeah, no, then there were actual minors.
You just wrote a joke from Galaxy Quest.
Did I?
That literally happens in a scene. He goes, it's not minors, minors. And I wonder if it's because somebody watched this episode. Like that literally.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Lateral writing, sort of.
I forgot about that.
Lateral thinking. Why would everyone talk smack about Spock even at the end when he was the one person who, although again, Uhura was right there, she could have had some say in all this, but he was the one person who was keeping mostly a level head during all of this. Kirk was doing his best. I'll give him that. But like at the end, there was that dig, McCoy's dig against Spock. I'm like, come on, man, you were a babbling idiot while Spock was sort of like not tripping over his own tongue, and you're still hitting. Oh, you even have a heart? It's over here. I'm like, shut the hell up, McCoy. You sicken me. All right.
Oh, can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what they were on the planet for again?
Oh, lithium crystals.
Lithium crystals.
Lithium. We didn't get to dye lithium till later. It's just lithium, mood stabilizer crystals. Sorry. Yeah, that was interesting.
We ragged a little on Shatner last week for his chewing up the scenery as his evil half. Yeah. I'm sorry, we got a lot of it here when he was out on the planet's face trying to, shout for Eve to come back.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of unbearable hearing that.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of stretching that happened in this episode, and the stakes didn't seem high enough. But I don't know. It's fun but weird. That's how I would best describe this. Fun but weird. One thing I loved, and it has nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. But the science fictioniness of them chasing Mudship into an asteroid belt and then choosing whether or not to stretch out their deflector screens far enough to protect his ship at the cost of their own power reserves. And I'm like, that's science fiction-y. That was so like hard sci-fi. I loved it. And it was just a great little pretense to put a lot of like a high risk at the opening scene, to put them kind of like in a position where they're gonna need Mud and his assets, and his where Mud can actually be conniving and sneak his way into control again. Mm-hmm. I thought it was brilliant. Well, great writing, brilliant sci-fi. I loved it.
I really liked that whole bit. I liked Mud being on trial and everything was a lot of fun too. Because it's like, how was I supposed to know you were a starship? My name's this person, lying. I don't know. It was just a lot of fun. Anything with Mud was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, but I also thought it felt awkward for me the second they stayed in the room and Mud started talking, because I feel like we're never really seeing anything not from our crew's eyes. And it was almost weird for me at that moment. I was like, oh, we're with the bad guy.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. We rarely ever see things from outside their perspective. Overall, I can kind of see why people would want to pass this episode, because it doesn't necessarily further anything in fact, it kind of counteracts some of the things you learn later on about how the ships work. But it's still a joy to watch. It was really interesting. And as long as you don't have impressible children that need to know more details than you feel comfortable sharing with them about the life of frontier women, then yeah, definitely watch this episode. It's good. It was fun.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you take an illegal drug that makes you eternally youthful and sexy?
I wouldn't need to.
That's a good answer.
Wow.
Good night, everybody. All right, let's see. Are there bigger questions brought up on this episode?
I mean, that was it. That was my bigger
Then
question.
James's
but-
vain question.
No, I meant
I'd take it.
James's question made me think, are there okay. So yeah, I guess. I mean, it would be very hard, I think, to avoid doing something that puts your best foot forward. But it also feels like this drug definitely crosses the line of manipulation of the other person. I guess it's hard to say. Really, the science, even the sci-fi-ness of this, doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah, the people seemed like supernaturally manipulated, but the ending's motto was like, "It's just all confidence." It's like, well, that doesn't add up.
I'm still confused. This lady cooked him dinner, taught him a better way to wash his dishes, and he's like, "This bitch." I don't get it.
Because he's shallow. I think partly he's shallow, and I think part of it is he thinks he's being scammed. So for him, that's what it is. For him, relationships are a commodity. Literally, he's trading for them, right?
Yeah.
He's trading minerals for them. And because he doesn't see her as a person, he sees her as an asset. He was robbed. He was cheated out of some aspect of it, because it was not just the good cooking and which he claims he didn't care about, and the dirty dishes, which he claims were intentional or unresolvable, but it was also the fact that she was sold to him as being incredibly beautiful and wasn't. And I don't know if he really grew. He definitely did not have time to grow.
He washed his dishes.
He did wash his dishes.
Hands.
Maybe you think that's symbolic of him like meeting her halfway?
No.
That's the closest thing they're going to get to it.
I really feel like the crew was like, we are the main characters here. We need fuel. We're leaving. That's it. I hope you have an arc, Minor. I hope you have an arc and you learn your lesson. But right now,
And then the assumption that the other two girls should have been out of pills for hours and the other guys didn't come back complaining that maybe they were happy. I don't know. There's really just like a lot of drop balls there.
I think they were stuck within a snowstorm. I think that was what was implied. And it was a fraud marriage. And if they ever get out to get to an attorney.
Right. And then, hang on. And then Kirk asks Eve if she wants to leave, but we don't get them going back for the other two people. Right. But they take Mudd to arrest him.
Yeah. None of this is satisfactory.
Yeah. No, none of this ends well. This was enjoyable until I thought about the ending in any sense. So
yeah. You remember in the earlier
Mudd chew up the scenery a bit and then quit.
Remember in that earlier episode, for lack of the alcohol virus that was was the thing. I forgot the name of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember how? Yeah, they invent time travel. The naked time. Yeah. They invent time travel, and we're all like, all right, maybe they're going to go back and save everybody on the planet. Nope, we're not going to address that. Fine. There was a little bit of a kind of a hanging, like, well, I wonder why. This one is just like, we're leaving. We are leaving.
This is squarely not our problem.
We're out. You want your wives or not? We're taking them once. We're actually not even going to ask. We're going to ask you. You're here. You're here. We'll pick you up because we're already here. Anybody else, screw them. I actually love this episode.
We just changed it for
terrible. Oh, God. I got nothing else. I literally had 5 things written down on my paper.
Mostly frustrations that
females.
The only thing left I have is I'm still curious about how uniforms work on this show, because Uhura is out of the red uniform and in a mustard one for some reason.
It really does not have a rhyme or reason. I didn't bring this up last week, but also I guess their uniforms are sort of spacesuits, because Sulu was on that planet freezing and all he had was his onesie. So I'm assuming that there was some sort of like insulation in it.
No, but they had the hazmat suits and the naked time.
What was Sulu? Yeah, indeed. And what was Sulu doing in this episode? I feel like he was on because there is another way of resolving this that have nothing to do with giving women power.
Yeah, it's called we let Sulu be his actual gender identity.
Yeah. Well, his
That
sexuality.
wasn't going to
yeah.
happen either.
Yeah.
Sexuality. Sorry.
Yeah,
That
he
was my
could
fault.
definitely
My
have.
bad.
There's a lot of different things we could have done with this episode. 60s TV was not ready for it yet. Instead, it was just like, well, you know, when men are in charge of a crew and they've got these urges. And that one guy, you know what? Honest to God, I wish I could end this with a clip of that one guy just reacting to things, just reacting to the presence of women. And I truly, truly believe he's like 50% there just for any normal woman, drugs aside. He's just like, huh, ooh, huh. He was doing it's so awful. Please don't sample any of that video above. Do it. I don't care. So we hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed watching it with us. If you did, tell a friend. We could use more viewers on our stream. We are doing this every Friday for the time being. And of course, follow our channel, twitch.tv/non-productive to find out when we go live next. And if you've got a spare subscription this month, hey, we're your guys. Only guys. No females allowed.
I don't want to raise or douse any expectations, but the title of the next episode is "What Are Little Girls Made Of?"
Oh no.
I'm out.
Good night, everybody.
I don't know if we can take that. I don't think we can take this back to back, but we're going to try. All right. Thanks, everyone. We're going to cut the logo and subscribe if you can and follow if you can't.